Hi, this is Mr. Wedge, and in this video I'm going to show you how to colorize your animation background and characters. So we're going to use Photoshop. So step one, actually we don't even have to open Photoshop, we just have to open our files because I already put them in Photoshop for you. So we're going to go Computer, Shared Files, which is right here, or it's right here, Shared Files, or it's right here. Elementary Classes, Wedge. We're in 5th grade and we're on art club. We're in the April-May group, and I have everybody's pictures that they drew in class in Photoshop. So all you have to do is find your name and double click it and it will open Photoshop for you. So you just have to wait a second while it loads. And we're going to colorize today, but we're also going to use layers. So here's the drawing I did, or drawings I did in art club last time. And it's all black and white. But if you look over here on the side, there's the background, and in this case it'd be the city and the sky and the road. There's Dracula. He's on a different layer. So there's Dracula. And the bat taxi is on a different layer. So the background doesn't move, but the characters are all on different layers, and they will move. So because they're on different layers, I can actually grab these. If I grab the Move tool, and I'm on the bat taxi layer, so I can move my bat taxi around. And if I click on Dracula, now I can move him around. If I'm on the Dracula layer and I want to move the bat taxi, I can't because I'm not on the right layer. So I need to make sure I'm on the right layer. And I just named your layers for you just so you could quickly find them. I wasn't sure what to call them, but I did my best. So I'm not even going to worry about what's going to happen in my movie. I just want to add color today. So first thing I'm going to do is start with the background. And to make it easier so I don't have to keep moving things out of my way, I can just hit the eyeball and it will get rid of it, but not really. It's still there. When I hit the eyeball, I can't see it anymore. If I hit the eyeball again, it'll bring it back. So I'm going to take all my characters and just hide them by clicking on the eyeball so I can only see my background right now. If I click the eyeball on my background, now I can't even see my background, but they're all still there. They're just hidden. I'm going to start colorizing my background. So I want to make sure I can see it, not my characters. And I'm going to think about what colors I want first. And I want this to be at night. And so it's going to be pretty dark, but the windows and the street light and the moon are going to be all lit up. So I think I'll start with the road or the street. And I want it kind of a dark gray. So first thing I'll do is come over here. Not these, we're not going to mess with this up here, but right down here where these two squares are stacked on top of each other. The one on top is your paint color, and the one on the bottom is your eraser color. Think of it that way. So I'm going to start with my paint color, and you can slide this bar up and down to get different colors, but wherever this circle is inside this giant box is what your actual color is. So right now I'm on orange. So this is my new color that I'm picking. If I go all the way up in the corner, it's very bright. It's as bright as it gets. If I go across the top, it gets lighter. If I go down this side, it'll get darker. And anywhere over here is gray. But you can get anything in between. And since I want dark gray, it doesn't matter what color. So I'll just go over here and pick dark gray. Click OK. And I could paint this in with the paintbrush tool. B for brush. If I push the key B for brush, it'll come up with a brush. But if you notice, it won't let me do anything right now. And that's because over on my layers, I'm actually on my bat taxi layer. I want to make sure I'm on the ground, the background. So I need to select that layer before I can color it. Now I can color it in. But it's going to take a long time to color with the paintbrush. So I'm going to go Edit, Step Backward. And I can do that as many times as I need to. Well, 30 times to be specific. But you can just fill it in really quick. So for that, we're going to use the paint bucket tool. And there's the paint bucket tool right there. or G for bucket. I don't know why it's G, but you could just push the letter G on your keyboard. And now I want to make sure I'm on the background layer, and I can just quickly color in the street. And I can do that for everything. So the moon and all the windows, I could make it like a bright yellow color. Click OK. And now I can go in and color all these little things. I can color the sky too, but you know what I just thought of? The sky actually gets lighter sometimes as it goes down. It doesn't have to be all one solid color. And there's a trick for making things fade. You can fade when you color things in Photoshop. And sometimes that looks really cool. So if you want to try that, here's a little art trick. If you take the magic wand tool, which is the fourth tool down, if it looks like that, just right click on it and change it to the magic wand. Then you select the area that you want to paint. So now I just selected the sky just by clicking in it with the magic wand. So now I can go over to the paint bucket tool, right click on it and change it to the gradient. And now I can pick the colors that I want to fade. Let me show you what that means. I kind of want it purplish, like dark purple, but I want it to get lighter purple as it goes down. So on this top box, I can pick like a dark purplish color, kind of like that. That's really dark purple. And I want it to fade to light purple, so I can go to my eraser color and pick just a lighter purple like that. So now I can drag with the gradient tool and it'll fill it in so it fades, and it, if you want to do it that way, you kind of just looks a little cooler. And then you hit the select tool, click out anywhere outside your picture, and then you've deselected it. And to me that looks cooler than if it's just solid. But I'm going to make the buildings solid. First I want to kind of take this area and make it light, because this is like the light from the street light. So I'll go back to my yellow. If I want that exact yellow, I can grab the eyedropper tool, or I can just push I for eyedropper, and I can select that yellow, and now it showed back up in my paint. So I have that exact same yellow. So if you want an exact same color that you used before, just use the eyedropper, and it'll pick up the color and put it back in your palette. So here I go. I'm going to go back to my paint bucket tool and just color in this triangle with like light. So there we go. Oh no! I colored in the light area, but it colored all my buildings yellow, and I didn't want it to do that. So really quick, I'm going to go edit, step backward. All right, phew. But why did that happen? Well, if you look, there's a little hole. So I'm going to grab the zoom tool and zoom in on this spot. Do you see where it doesn't quite connect to the street light? That's so when I colored this, the color actually leaked out into my buildings, and I didn't want that. So what I have to do is fill in that hole that I have. So I'm going to go here to my paint palette. I'm going to make it black. I'm going to go back to the brush, and I can just fill that hole. That brush was a little bit bigger than the Sharpie, so I can go edit, step backward. Right up here is where you can change your brush size. So you can make it a little smaller if you need to. Fill in the hole that you have there, if you have a hole. Now I can zoom back out with the zoom tool and go back to my paint bucket, eyedropper, pick up that yellow color again, paint bucket tool, or just G for bucket, well, whatever that means, and fill it in. And the color didn't leak out because now I filled in that hole. And the only other thing I'd like to do is just make the buildings just black, I think. Well, maybe I'll just make it a dark gray, but a different dark gray. Maybe like that. Click OK. There we go. Oh, and right there, negative space. So there's my picture. So we're going to color the background, however you want to color it, but we're also going to color our characters. And if they're really small, just remember to zoom in on them. Whoops. I don't have to color this dude's skin because he's a vampire. But I think I'll color his clothes, his cape. Oops, now why did that happen? I just colored my buildings. Well, if you look, I'm still on my background layer. So I'm going to go Edit, Step Backward, make sure I'm on that layer. Now I'm on Dracula layer. So now I can color Dracula and it won't mess up my background. I'm going to zoom back out again. And bring back my bat taxi. And I'm going to color that. And I think I'll make the wings black. I colored that one with a Sharpie, but I forgot to do that one in the tire. So I'll just get this black. Make sure I'm on my right layer. Color it real quick. And I'm going to do like a checker pattern. I think taxis have this sometimes. So that's how you do it. And I'm using the paint bucket tool. But you can use the brush. You can also use the gradient tool to fade it. Just right click on the paint bucket tool and change it. And make sure all your characters are colored and your background's colored. And that's all we need to do today. So there we go. Just finish it here real quick. You can zoom in and out whenever you need to. As soon as you make a mistake, just go back and fix it. And that's all I can think of. So work hard and have fun. Oh, and when you're done, um, just make sure you've colored everything. Next class, I'm going to show you how to move things around and make a little movie out of this. But today we just need color. So just when you're done, make sure you go File, Save. That's all you need to do. File, Save. Work hard, have fun.